And recording.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to Bookish Brigade.
Yes, we, first and foremost, I need to apologize because last week I forgot this little detail that you need in order to make a podcast, like the actual like laptop. So we could not do that because it was at work and yeah. So I messed that up. So we're actually kind of a week behind, but it was an honest mistake. So
It's
we're not
okay.
going to get off the routine unless I forget.
It just
I'll
gives
try
them a
not
little
to.
bit more time to miss us, you know?
Yes, exactly. It gives you something to look forward to. Bailey and I are actually doing something a little different today. So usually we do this podcast in the morning, but we went to the pool today.
Mm-hmm.
Hence I was not about to put on any makeup
No, you can see the
at this
pink
point
on
today.
my cheeks.
Oh, but that's so cute. Yeah, the blemish. Yeah, and then that's also why I have this massive pimple on my forehead because the sunscreen and me don't get along. So, but it's fine. It's fine. Got to protect myself from the sun. So.
Sun being gnarly.
Oh yeah, there was this one time when we went to the pool. It was like probably almost a year ago now,
Yeah.
where Bailey used
It was,
dealership sunscreen.
yeah, it
Yes,
was,
I don't know.
it was basically just like the sunscreen that you put right here. That's it. Like it was just like fit. Like it was not water resistant. Like made for like sweat,
Right.
heat, water. Like it was just this very basic, and terrible.
They were like free. Like they were like
Yeah.
promo stuff to give
And
away.
don't
So
ask me why. Don't ask me why.
look, you learned your lesson. Okay. And you still have the proof.
Yeah. I still have the tan lines from that sunburn
She
last
burned.
year.
She burned. She was pink. Pink, pink, pink
It
the
was
next day.
terrible.
Wasn't it? Wait, which degree burn was it? Wasn't it? Didn't it reach one of the degrees?
Yeah, because my entire like all of my like shoulders like blistered, my back blistered, like and if you like touched me, like it would like the
Dude.
blisters would like pop. It
Oh,
was
dude.
bad.
That's bad.
I guess
Hey, but now you know.
yeah, now I know. Now I brought real good sunscreen today. I was prepared.
Yes.
And that's why I'm only a little pink. And we were out there for like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were there for a while, and that was fun. It was good for my mental health.
Yes. Everyone needs to go touch some grass.
Yeah. No, seriously, like I was starting to look like part of me wants to, after we finish this podcast and it gets uploaded, look at previous videos and see how pale I probably look compared to now. Because your girl did not look Hawaiian. I don't know what I don't know what I look like, but I'm getting some of my ethnicity back. So love that for me.
Okay. Today we are talking about Bridgerton season 3, part 2. So for anyone watching, spoilers.
Yes.
Yes, spoiler warning. We will be talking
Spoiler.
about everything that happens in part 2. And we might bring up some stuff that like are theories. So if you don't want to hear theories about what might be happening in future seasons, be cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Part 2, y'all. I'm not gonna like. I don't even know how to like which part I should start with because so much of this season had so many different plot lines going on that I almost don't even know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was more plot lines than the other the other two seasons, and even in Queen Charlotte, it was just almost like you didn't know what was like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was going to be a main storyline. Um, I've already told Bailey this, y'all, but I'm gonna say it here. I was pretty disappointed in Colin and Penelope's relationship. I feel like we talked about how like it was just promoted so much on
Mm-hmm.
social media and there was just all this hype and it was most of the season it just didn't really focus on them. It focused like on all these different avenues that some weren't even really that relevant. I don't know. It wasn't what we deserved.
Yeah, I feel like we got way more of the other couples. And there are some people who agree and some people who disagree with this. Some people who say that they feel like they saw the same amount of Colin and Penelope as you do other couples, but I just like specifically their relationship. There was a lot of stuff about her being Lady Whistledown and like
Mhm.
based around that. And I know that that's a part of her story, but like it's supposed to be a romance. It's supposed to be a romance, and I feel like we were robbed because I'm a Pollen stan.
Mhm.
I wanted way more than what we got, and yeah, I was disappointed. I still loved it, but I was disappointed that we didn't get more of them.
Yes, I agree. I feel like most of the interesting part was in the first half of the season. I didn't feel like the second
Yeah.
half was that like it was okay, I
Hmm.
guess. But um one thing that we talked about and you had even posted about on Facebook, which you were really I had thought about it, and when you said it, I was like,
Hmm.
okay, this is a thing. But in part one, when they showcased Penelope naked, it felt like the first time you had ever seen like someone with like a normal body or like a common body, not just like the stereotypical like thin,
Hmm.
like it was just like a normal body, and she was like thick, and it just I don't know, it just seemed like, wow, I've never seen this before
Yeah.
on a TV screen. I did feel the exact same way you did.
Yeah. I mean, because you see, like, when you think back, and I know that, like, back then in, like, the 80s and the 90s, especially, like, a lot of the women that they show, like, without clothes on have very, like, small, like, perky boobs, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you
I
definitely
have not.
don't.
It's fine.
You
On
definitely
behalf of
don't
us,
see
we're
that.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't see Penelope's body type, at least in anything that I've seen, like
Mhm.
portrayed so naturally. Like they don't try and touch it up. They don't like leave the corset on her. Like you get to see like the back of her leg, which as a fellow thick girly, it is something that like I don't know, and maybe other girls might disagree or agree, but that's something that I like don't like about myself because it's just like that thick part of your thigh on the backside, like but seeing it on Penelope, she's beautiful, right?
Mhm.
And like it was just very nice to see something like that portrayed in a show.
And how they didn't just pick and choose what
Yeah,
parts,
they showed it
were
all.
like
You could see
yeah.
her tummy when she's laying down on the chase,
Mhm.
and like
Yep.
I know she was still kind of covering herself with a sheet, which is her like as like the character herself that makes sense, like that she'd be
Mhm.
kind of like covered like shy, like she knows that Colin has. As she asked him, was it as good as the girls from Paris? So she's
Yeah.
aware that he has like experience.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
and even though Bridgerton is like steamy, they never really go like it's not a porno, So there always is some sort of like there always is some sort of like
Coverage.
coverage in
Yeah.
this sense. Yeah, even if you see some stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
think you ever see the fronts of any of the guys. You can see their butts,
I
but
don't
I
think
don't
so. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think so
I feel
either.
like that would make it full on porno.
Probably. Probably. And we can talk about more about Penelope. And this is one of my favorite parts, or probably my favorite part of the entire season, was just seeing the development of the Featheringtons dynamic.
Hmm.
Because Penelope was always like the outcast, and even with her sisters, her mom, she was just always the oddball out. And so just seeing them kind of like grow together, I feel like they did a very good job executing that. It didn't feel like forced, it didn't necessarily feel rushed, specifically with her mom.
Hmm.
I just out of all of it, because I don't know if you remember, but I think I said in the last podcast we did on Bridgerton part 1 that with her mom, I couldn't bring myself to dislike her because I could tell everything she was doing was for her girls, even though she was a
Yes.
little like misguided in how to do it. She
Yeah.
was doing it for them.
I mean, think about the time that she was in. She didn't have many options. Like
Mhm.
working was not that
She had a husband that, like,
yeah.
didn't he wasn't a good provider, like, you know? Not that they were in love. I'm not saying she
Yeah.
was always good to him, but like she did what she had to do.
Yeah.
So I loved that.
I like that too. And I did like the sisters kind of coming together in the end. And
The bugs.
yes,
I
yes.
loved that scene. It was so cute.
I love that. I love that because she saved Penelope from like the awkward like whispering like,
Yeah.
oh, so she's Lady Whistledown. And yeah, I definitely like that part where she was like, Farley, the bugs.
Yes. It was so cute. Side note, I don't know what it is, but that particular actress, she's just so cute to me.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. She just plays it so well. And I've even seen
Hmm.
interviews with just her, and she's just, I don't know, she's just adorable.
She gives positive vibes.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
again, she is the one who's with the actor of Benedict, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is.
They're so cute together.
Speaking
What?
of being with actors, we did confirm that I forget his name, Luke, the dude that plays Colin.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he does have a girlfriend, y'all. At least he's been seen holding hands with one
Yeah.
post show. So I had a feeling. I felt like I'm not
Yeah.
saying that I had seen that, but I thought I saw something at
Look at
one
him.
point.
Look at him. You're telling me that someone hadn't already swept him off his feet?
Yeah. Yeah. And Anthony this season was great.
Oh, he was so great. I loved the development and like just the Anthony in love with Kate
Yeah.
and just not caring about anything anymore because
Nope.
he's just
They
so
were just in their
happy.
Yeah, they were just in their own marital bliss, doing their own thing. Um yeah, I just loved it. Lilacs. I just loved it. Every scene with them I loved.
Mhm. Or the like the carriage scene where he is talking about shouting the love from the rooftops of for
Oh
all of
yeah.
Mayfair to hear. The way his
Yeah.
eyes like get all big.
Yeah, he did a really good job with that. It's so crazy to me that bro's gay. He just plays a straight actor so well. Like how? How do you play it that well? I don't understand.
Lots of practice, lots of classes. Lots.
Yeah.
That's just talent. I guess I would never if
Yeah.
I had met him in person. I haven't. From what I've seen online, like I just don't. I wouldn't have guessed, especially with the
No.
way he is at Bridgerton.
Right, he doesn't give that vibe.
No,
I don't know his partner's name, but even his partner, have you seen him? They're both like I don't know.
no.
Not one's not like better looking than the other. They just like both look good. They both look like they would I don't know.
What is his? What is the actor's name? Do you know the actor? I'm gonna look it up.
No, I don't know. I don't even know that I've ever like seen him in anything before.
Oh, I can't believe I Jonathan Bailey. His last name is literally my name.
Oh, you're talking about him. Sorry, I thought you were talking about his partner.
Oh no, sorry, but I do. I'm looking up who his partner is because I want to see. I haven't seen.
Because I think his partner is also like a celeb.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute together.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? Where they like match each other's
Yeah,
attractiveness? Yeah.
you can definitely tell he's the funny one in the relationship, though. They're
Yeah,
cute
but
together.
it's nice to see too, especially because we didn't really get that with Daphne
Hmm.
and Simon,
Yeah,
since bro wanted to pursue other things, even though I don't even know what bro is in anymore.
I don't.
Sorry.
I haven't seen him in anything. I saw someone else post about that not too long ago. It's specifically about him because they were like, I guess Daphne and Simon's season was their favorite, and so they were kind of dogging on him for leaving and then saying, "Oh, well, I am gonna go take other roles," and now he's not. He hasn't been in anything that we've seen
I
or
know
like
it
know
it
about.
sucks. I get it. Like I guess I get it. I guess.
But Nicola did a whole movie during Bridgerton. They
Mm,
just I think it's on Netflix. She just released a Netflix movie. Like, and I'm pretty sure she was doing both. She was doing that and she was doing Bridgerton.
yeah. I know he's been in other stuff. I just don't feel like they
Lame.
went big.
He's just lame
Yeah.
for not coming back.
Well, and then that automatically makes it so like Daphne does it. And I love
Hmm.
Daphne so much. I
Yep.
hate that she's not in it. She just looks like she would have been in that era.
Yeah. It's the
You
very like
know?
defined like face, very like slim
Yes.
frame.
She doesn't need a lot of like makeup
Hmm.
because she just has that like natural beauty. So it's like, I don't know. That sucks. I loved her character. Um and then Miss Violet.
Ooh,
and Lady Danbury's brother.
yes, I'm honestly so excited to see how that goes because, like everyone else mentions, she clocks each one of her kids every single season. I know you're in love, and I know you're just not fucking, you're not admitting it, or you don't want to talk about it. Like
Yeah.
every single season, and now, homegirl gets to watch that man eat cookies on her couch.
Oh, yeah. Just like her kids. She is just like her kids.
Immediately, I think of the scene with Colin and Penelope, where Penelope's eating the sugar, and she's like, "Do I have sugar on my face?" And he's like,
Yeah. I thought of that one at the same time that I thought of the spoon one with Daphne and Simon.
"Oh yes,
Yeah.
all of them Bridgertons, nasty."
Mhm. Get it from their mama. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they like
Mhm.
pursue that. It was funny seeing Anthony get like jealous.
Yeah,
Or not jealous, but like protective
yeah,
over his mom. I like that they still keep his character as his character as
yeah.
the oldest, you know.
Not everything has
And how
changed.
exactly, and like how Benedict is just very like open. Like
Yeah. Speaking of Benedict,
speaking of open.
homie was open for business, front door and
Dude.
back door. Um,
Yeah. We all saw that coming though.
Yeah, like you had said at the gym a few days ago, like if we had to really sit down and look at all of them, he made the most sense because he had been to that art gallery and had seen
Yeah.
those guys making out, and he didn't really like, he wasn't like, oh my god, that's so disgusting. Like he was just kind of like, oh, okay, well that's
Yeah, he was
happening.
like curious,
Yeah,
but he
he was
wasn't
curious.
judging.
That's
Yeah,
called bi
exactly.
curious.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And then the fact that so he like joins their like,
yeah,
three stack.
three.
and she ends up falling for him.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think we'd ever talked about that.
No,
Yeah, she falls for him. He's like, you opened a door for me, and I really think I just want to explore. Which I knew that like she wasn't gonna be.
she wasn't the one.
Yeah, she wasn't the one. I don't like. I just didn't get that vibe.
Yeah, it wasn't that
So,
bit like deep of a story. They were just kind of
but
fucking.
what's interesting to me though is because we're pretty sure we don't know, but that next season is going to be Benedict's season.
Mhm.
So like, I guess I'm a bit curious as to like I don't know if this makes sense, like how they're gonna do that because if it's his season, like does the openness of or his like curiousness play into his next relationship for his season?
Yeah,
Like does it have any relevance per se, or is it just kind of like I don't know to show more about who I don't know his personality? I guess. Mm-mm.
that's a good question. And I mean, he from what I've heard about the person he ends up with, I it's so I definitely like I've heard a lot of people talk about the relationship he ends up in, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they can, if they take away his romance story and change it. I feel like a lot of people are going to be upset because I know there were people upset about Francesca, but it's not like a super super big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But with him, I've read a lot about people being excited for his story and who he ends up with. And I haven't read Bridgerton, so I don't know the premise of the relationship he ends up in, but it's definitely got to be a woman.
Well, so I saw something on TikTok.
Oh boy.
Do you want me to talk about it or no?
Yes.
Because I don't know
Yes,
that
I want
it's
you to talk about it.
okay, okay. I don't know that it's what's gonna happen, but apparently, based off of the books, I don't know if he'll end up with a guy or a girl. They might change that just like they changed Francesca's story, so you really don't know.
Mhm.
But based off of the books, he ends up with like a servant girl kind of,
Oh, okay.
which I would like that because we haven't had anything yet with like
Yeah.
a different class
Yeah.
meshing together. Like I don't know if you remember with Antony, like the very first season, that girl he was talking
Mhm.
with, that didn't work because of class. Eloise's first like
Kiss.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, with that guy, that didn't work because of class. Like, so if that does end up, like, being his story, which it probably will, I would really like that
I
if
would
they can
too.
make it work.
I would like that too. I think I'm hoping that what's going on is they're portraying him as bi-curious, but as he meets his partner that he ends up with, he like learns that that's what he wants. You know,
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
you can still be bi and be in a like hetero relationship. Hello.
Yeah.
Um, but I because I know a lot of people were also upset about like the way that they portrayed him this season and doing the
Mhm.
threesome and stuff. Um, because he's supposed to be this big, like, I wouldn't say fuck boy, but like he's kind of that's it's he's a fuck boy and he goes around and has sex with everyone and then he meets
Mhm.
a servant girl who changes his world.
Well, here's the thing, like, with his character, I all of his, exploring,
Hmm.
as a watcher with my personality, that's not really my thing, right?
Yeah.
But I can appreciate the fact
Yeah.
that it fits his personality well, because even from the other seasons, like, he's into art, he's definitely different from the bunch in the sense he's just so open-minded, and he wants to, like, explore more about his identity and
Hmm.
who he is. So, yeah, like, I feel like it just fits, like, you can't, I don't know.
It would fit because when he's talking with that lady that I can't remember her name, the one that he sleeps with,
Yeah.
they talk about like we weren't just put on this earth to like follow society's rules. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like she's kind of the she is the one who opens up his mind and they could use that to step into his story of just because we come from two different classes doesn't mean that we can't be together because we're both human and we both love each other. It shouldn't matter.
Right.
You're on it. You're
Right.
on it.
Exactly. No, exactly, and that's why in, part 1, it makes the most sense that he was the one to say to, the one couple, the I don't remember their name, but the black couple that used to be
Oh,
Simon's friends.
The Mondrich's
Yeah,
couple.
exactly how he says at that, like, ball, like, "You can do whatever you want because you're married. You're not
Mhm.
trying to court anybody. Like, look at that couple over here that's old, and are you supposed to be getting drunk after, like, you're not supposed to be, like, drink more than, like, 2 or 3 drinks or something
Yep.
like that, and they do, because who do they have to impress? They
Mhm.
have each other. And so he's very, like, he doesn't care what people think.
Mhm.
He did he doesn't care what people think.
That sounds
Did
right.
that sound right? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I felt like it felt like a caveman sentence for a second. I have pus.
I have purse. I have hat
Yeah,
on head.
right, so it makes sense that he would do that.
Yeah, it does make sense.
What do you think about the, Francesca and Michaela thing?
I look again, I have not read the books, so my opinion is purely based off of where the show is going. Now, what I've heard
Mhm,
from the books, I get why people are upset about Michaela and the whole Michael thing and why it was supposed to be Michael. But I like the way Francesca's story is going because she still loves John. Like it's not like it's a like she's just kind of she like Violet was worried that she was marrying for convenience and she didn't with John. She didn't marry for convenience. They actually have like a true like understanding of each other, the quiet and stuff like that. But it definitely seems like her love for John is different than the love she's going to have for Michaela. And I'm
mhm,
excited to see where that goes.
mhm. I actually saw today, like, literally, like, an hour ago, someone people were filing a petition against Netflix to redo that storyline or even that season because they felt
Really?
like, yeah, because they wanted them to just follow the book, because I guess one of the things that happens in Francesca's story, right, is she suffers with, like, infertility,
Yeah.
and so a lot of people, like, resonated with her book in particular and wanted it to just be based off of the books. And then I saw a lot of people in the comments talking about, like, they can't stand how just so many shows now will stray from, like, the plot of the book just to kinda do their own thing,
Yeah.
which, and they were saying, some people were saying that that applies to, like, a lot of shows. They
Yeah.
just don't like when they do that, and they wish they'd, like, stick to it.
Well, the thing that I heard, and I get wanting, if you're purely for just because you want it to follow the book, I get that. But
Mhm.
we do live, like, there has to be some kind of like line or of like understanding, because we do live in a world now where this stuff is acceptable, right? Like, I know that there's still a lot of hate in the world, but like,
Yeah, right.
but
More
back
than it's ever been.
yeah, but back then, like, especially in that kind of like that whole entire series, other than Queen Charlotte's what's his name? The butler. Frick. Him and the guy that he's with,
Yeah.
beside outside of that one, like, you don't get like inclusivity.
Brimsley.
Yes, Brimsley. Like, you
Mhm.
don't, if they don't change it, then no one is going to be represented in
Mhm.
any of the shows that are created now. Like, now
Mhm.
that like the world is being more open, we also have to be more inclusive. And I understand wanting to follow the books, but we also live in a different time now where, like, if there are no like bi, gay, like none of that in these books, no one is represented, you know? And I understand. I feel like we should be able to look past that just
Mhm.
for the sake of the inclusivity, because you don't get a whole lot of romance stories about stuff like that.
No.
Even just people being open-minded like Benedict. Even like, even if he still ends up with a woman, like, it should be okay that they're including this and stuff now. Just because
Mhm.
if they don't, and you want everyone to follow the storylines, there are so many people who are going to be excluded from so many shows and movies. I don't know.
Well, and it was cool to see how they, when her and John get married,
Hmm.
when they kiss,
Yes.
and you see her, like, q question it, like, in her
Yep.
face, you could tell she looks puzzled, and you insinuate because it's probably not how she expected it to feel, like, it
Yeah.
probably felt wrong
Hmm.
almost or, like, just weird, because yeah, but when we were introduced to Michaela, something felt, like, off a little
Yeah.
bit, but I actually didn't know right away. A lot of people, like, did. I was like, "Wow, she's, like, stuttering," and then I thought of her mom, how her mom was telling her,
Yep.
"When I met your father, I was so nervous, and I would
Yep.
stutter," and look, Violet knew.
They set
Violet
that
knew.
up. They
Yeah, they
set that up
did.
well.
They did, and I did think of that immediately, the stuttering as soon as
Yeah.
she met her, but for some reason, because I think it wasn't even the fact that it was with a girl, I
Hmm.
think it was because we were introduced to John,
Yeah.
like, so recently that in my head, I was like, "Mm, no. Like, what?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I was confused. I was a little puzzled at first, so, yeah. I am a little, like, just a little disappointed that John just got so, like,
Yeah.
brushed over.
I feel like part of the reason they did that is because they think a large part of the audience has already read the books, so they know, like, people watch it know that he's not the end game
Mhm.
and that Michaela is. So just introducing them sooner, like, I think they kind of did that, and they didn't think about the fact that there are a lot of people reading, like, watching this show who haven't read the book. So we don't know who Michael is. We don't know who Michaela is. We can see
Yeah.
her interaction, but for someone who hasn't read the book, yeah, you're right. Like, she meets John and she found her person, they get married, and then she is like, "Oh, a new person."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. His cousin.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it was like that in the book, if Michael was his cousin in the
I
book.
I think that yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was probably the same.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Hmm. And then Miss Queen Charlotte.
Yes. Yes. And Lady Whistledown, that whole
Yeah,
thing.
Lady Whistledown, no, not Lady Whistledown, Lady Danbury knew that it
Yes.
was Penelope.
Yep.
Of course she did.
She
Lady
knows
Danbury's Lady
everything.
Danbury. She knows everything.
Yep.
She's so wise. She always is. I love her character.
I do too. I love the relationship that grew between her and Violet this season.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved
That
that.
yeah. Mhm. And how they address what happened in Queen Charlotte with her father.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched the other seasons. Violet's dad was having an affair with Lady Danbury. And he used to make these paper like crowns with Violet, and then he made one in front of Violet, and Violet was like, "Oh, who's that for?" And he was like, "It's for a friend of mine." And she found that paper crown at Lady Danbury's home
Mhm.
as adults, so she knew that Lady Danbury
Yep.
had slept with her dad. But
Yep.
when Violet catches feelings for, and now I can't remember his name, Lady Danbury's brother,
I can't remember his name either.
they have like a conversation and they kind of like agree with each other. Like Violet's like, I know my dad was a good man, and Lady Danbury's like, I know my brother's a good man, and if you guys want to, you have my blessing.
Right. And then Violet's like, what happened with my dad?
Yeah,
Just leave it at that.
yeah,
They didn't
it's
want to go
cool.
into it. Let's just
Yep,
leave it at that.
yep,
So, I love that they talked about that. I think that was
yeah.
probably one of the only things that, they brought up from Queen Charlotte, so that was pretty cool, and I also liked how Lady Danbury was saying, even though I don't feel like the queen, like, she kinda listened, but not completely, where they were playing chess,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Wow," Queen Charlotte's like, "Wow, you're really, like, not doing that well at this today,"
Mm-hmm.
and Lady Danbury's basically trying to, like, indirectly tell the queen with her mission to track down Lady Whistledown that ruins a lot of the fun
Mm-hmm.
if you do find out who she is. Speaking of that room or that moment where she calls them all into the room, like, "Everybody but the Bridgertons leave," and our girl Penelope
She was like,
tried to got a blast. "No, you're a Bridgerton now." She's like, "Fuck, Colin."
because Colin did know then because they were already married, so Colin knew
Yeah.
that she was Lady Whistledown.
Yes, he did.
And yeah, that
That dude, I will say I was so nervous during that scene. I was like my jaw was to the floor. I just didn't think they were gonna do that.
yeah, like, is
She
this
would
really gonna
do
happen
that.
like right now?
Yes. I was like, "What are you gonna do?" Yeah, that
And poor
stressed me out.
Francesca, she was like, I love Lord Kilmartin
Yes.
and I'm gonna marry him. And the
Like,
queen's
"Oh,
like,
baby, that's not what it was." Yeah.
nah. she's like,
She doesn't even know.
she's like,
Mhm.
I know you're fucking in love. Back up. It's not about you.
Mhm.
I am glad
Yeah.
that Lady Danbury stepped in to kind of refocus the queen on maybe not punishing Lady Whistledown because she also did know it was Penelope, right? So she was trying to make
Mhm.
sure that like Penelope didn't. I mean, I don't know what the queen would have done. I'd throw her in prison. I don't know what she would have planned. I would like to think that she wouldn't put our girl Penelope in prison, but or is it the dungeon? I don't know. Cellars?
I don't know.
Cell?
It's hard to know with Queen Charlotte because we know more about her.
Yeah.
So, we know that there's layers under
Yes.
that
Yeah.
surface. So, I don't
Yes.
know.
She's like an onion or a
An onion.
parfait.
There you go. Yep. She is.
I am glad Penelope stepped up though and told her. Oh,
Mhm.
what about Cressida?
Oh, yeah, Cressida. How did we forget that, dude? Yeah, I mean, look, I I feel bad for her in a sense, and at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like I don't because
Yeah.
she continuously makes bad decisions. Sure, you could say she was handed like a bad hand,
Hmm.
but like when does she ever not make a bad decision though?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah. And she didn't grow up with any like real good tools. Her mom taught her like it's one for all and all for one. Like it's all for yourself. Like you can't think of
Yeah.
anybody else. And I did like seeing that Cressida did start thinking about other people. I did hope that she would get away somehow,
Mhm.
but it is also that time, right? That's like time frame. Like there's not
And
much
how
she's gonna be able to
she
do.
tried to claim she was Lady Whistledown, and everybody was just like, "No,
And then she
you're
tried to
not clever
write.
enough."
That's well, yeah. And then I felt bad for her when people were like, you cannot do like that's not. We know it's not you
We
because.
know it's not you. Yeah.
And then she, poor thing, tried to write it right, and then she read it to her mom, and her mom was just like,
Mhm.
and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Something that I saw. probably like a few minutes before our podcast started, was that in the at the end of the season, when you see her in that carriage about to leave, her hair is a birdcage and chains.
I never noticed that.
It was like it because you only see her briefly, but whenever they pause on it, you can see there's a little bird cage shape, and then there's it looks like chains around the bird cage.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at that again after. Her outfits this season, I saw so many people making fun of them online because they
her
were all just like,
sleeves.
yes, always, always something. Which it's kind of ironic considering like her family. It almost makes me
Yeah,
surprised that that she does wear those kinds of dresses. You know?
it was probably to try and attract suitors, right? Like, see me, like pay attention to me. You know,
Yeah.
the bigger
Right.
the
Yeah.
sleeve, the more space you
Attention.
take up. You got to look at me. You got to see me.
Hmm.
Uh, I wonder if we're gonna get anything from her story like next season.
I don't get why they didn't just give her Lord Debling.
I
Why?
see. I
It
thought
would have
about that
been
too.
it would have been perfect. Like he was into her when she was pretending she was into grass. Like
I think he found out that she
oh,
didn't.
birds. Birds, not
Yeah,
grass.
but well, I mean, he was. I think he was like a naturalist too, like a nature guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but I think it's because he found out that she was faking all of it, and he was like, I don't want like,
Cressida he did?
yeah,
Oh, I thought it was only like when like with Penelope. I don't remember them ever addressing it with specifically Cressida.
I don't know. I think it was more like a he knew that Cressida was not what he wanted or
Mm,
what he was looking for. I think he
yeah.
genuinely did like Penelope.
He just
I
like disappeared.
yeah, he just like disappeared. I did wonder that too, why they didn't just put Cressida with him, but maybe it's because they have more plans for Cressida. Like
Mhm.
I don't know her story in the book. I heard that they're actually extending her story in the show more. Like you don't get to know her as deeply as you do in the show in the books. Like they don't you don't get a whole lot about her.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I
Hmm.
do want to read the books.
I want to read the books as well. I've heard very mixed reviews.
Hmm.
So that usually, I don't know. I'm just going to read it for myself and formulate my own opinions on it.
What was that one Bridgerton book set that they had for sale that was like
The Illumicrate Bridgerton set, y'all. I would give up my firstborn for that book set. It is literally like over $1,000 because
that's
they haven't made
crazy.
anymore. Yeah. It's like probably on average like anywhere from 1,000 to 1,600. Like it's ridiculous. It's because the company that made it, they didn't even make it like it's cheap, not to be rude. It looks beautiful, but it's pretty like cheap stuff.
Like you got to take
And
care of it if you buy it.
it wa- they sold it and they didn't sell it at a crazy price, but then they didn't make it again. And so everybody's like, I think they did 2 reprints total. Everybody's like buying them and reselling them because they know they haven't made them. And so they resell it at such a ridiculous price. People bought these sets for like $200 maybe.
Yeah,
It's it makes me so mad. I want it so bad, but I can't justify it. I feel like I'd look at it and be a little sad because like of how much I spent.
that is a lot of money. Did you order? You ordered the Throne of Glass series, right? Sprayed edges.
I sure did. It's supposed to come in around October. This my
October,
birthday. Yeah,
your birthday.
my birthday. I'm so excited for that to arrive. Oh my gosh.
I'm still trying to talk my man into buying me the sprayed edges of Akatar. So
Ooh, actually, matter of fact, something I thought about, don't buy it yet. Because why don't you wait until she makes Elaine's book?
you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Big brain. Big brain.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Throne of
Yeah.
Glass series complete?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
done. And she may like add on, but as of now, like it's complete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you right. You right about that.
Mm-hmm. And even then, after Elaine's, I'm sure there's gonna like maybe be another, or it might not be. That might be the end, or there might be another one. I don't know.
I need more of the first 3 books. I need more of that. I had to figure out how
I
to
love.
say that without saying things about that series.
ACOTAR is definitely, like, I haven't read Crescent City yet, but those 2 are different, but I
Hmm.
still prefer ACOTAR. I don't know what it is.
Read it. It's worth it. For anyone who hasn't
Yeah,
read Akatar,
so good.
worth it.
Eventually we'll talk about that
Yeah.
series because how can you not?
What
Yeah.
is your rating on Bridgerton season 3, part 2?
Um,
1 out of
dude, I
5.
look like a little weirdo right now. Sorry, y'all. I didn't wanna turn on the light because I'm like a little vampire, and so my lighting is kind of ass. I'm wearing my pajamas.
This is supposed to be fun. Will you be comfy?
Yeah, we can be comfy. You're right. I don't need to over-explain myself. Stop judging me.
All of
Anyway,
you.
all of you. I would rate it out of what? 5, 10?
1 out of 5. 5 being your top 5 show. 1 being that really needed some fucking work.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Dude, I was literally in my brain. I was like, I'm gonna give it like a 3.5.
Yeah. See, we're synced. We're synced in the brain. Spider-Man meme.
Tell me why 3.5.
So I'm gonna say 3.5 because it's Bridgerton. One thing about Bridgerton is it's still good. If
Mhm.
you had never like seen the first 2 seasons or even Queen Charlotte, you would watch this and think that it was
Mhm.
good, right? Like I still think
Agree.
it would be a top 10 on Netflix. However, considering how well they did all the other seasons, the bar is already so high that I think it was easy to miss it.
Hmm.
Um, and apparently they had a different showrunner. I don't know
Yeah.
if that I know a lot of people are blaming her, but it takes a village to make that kind of show.
Yeah.
So like I just don't feel like it had that same feeling that the other seasons had. And the
Hmm.
story had a lot of like holes, too many storylines that weren't relevant. So,
Yeah.
but still they had good spicy scenes.
Hmm. Are we gonna wait? We
Good
gotta talk
bad.
about the mirror scene.
Was that in part 2?
Yeah, that was in part 2. The mirror was in part 2.
Yeah, right, cuz we talked about like how we saw her body or whatever and we
Yeah.
like that, but we didn't really talk about well, boing. That's all I got to say, bro. Anytime I think of that scene, I just think of her tatas. Like I was like, "Whoa." It was just so cinematic.
I liked how cinematic that part was. I liked that he took the time to make her feel beautiful because it was right after her mom basically shit on her like, Colin doesn't actually love you. I don't know what you did, but he doesn't love you. And he's like, how
Yes,
dare
and he, like,
you?
showed up. Yeah, he showed
Yeah.
up and overheard. I did like
Yeah.
that scene.
I think
Stood
they
up for his
set
ramen.
Yes. I think they set that scene up really well. I know that we hear that they broke the chase during one of those scenes when they were filming the spicy scene, broke the leg
Mhm.
off of it.
Yeah.
Um, I like how, especially for someone who's traveled the world so much, right? And he's very knowledgeable. I like how he's still kind with her, gentle,
Mhm.
caring. Like,
Well, and even when all of this was going on too, he didn't like, he found out she was Lady Whistledown, and he's, like, really mad at her and whatever, whatever. He never considered them not being together because
mhm,
he knew that he, like, took her innocence, and so out of honor, even though, like,
yeah,
he was really frustrated, like, he wasn't
mhm,
gonna, like and so I can appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. I can
But
too.
so you're 3.5. Why'd you give it a 3.5?
My 3.5 is definitely a big part of it. Is I love the build up for Colin and Penelope. I love the friends to lovers storyline.
Mhm.
I just wish we would have had more of them. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me being selfish because I want more of Pollen, but I feel like we
No, I
deserved
agree.
more. I
Mhm.
feel like we got a lot more spice in the other seasons. I feel like we got a lot more romance. And again, I know that Lady Whistledown was a big part of her story, but I don't feel like that should have affected the romance.
That felt like the
Yes.
foundation of their relationship, I
Yes.
agree.
And I
Mhm.
wanted more romance. I wanted them he's supposed to be yearning in love. Like, this is the guy who has not, like, he didn't realize he was in love with her until, like, this season because it's their
Mhm.
season. And I don't know, I just feel like I wanted more emotion, more romance, more feeling, more love. I feel like we just got a lot of anxiety and fuck. And
And
not the
plot
good kind
lines
of
that
fuck.
didn't need to be there, and we
Yes.
could have had more of Colin or Pollen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3.5 definitely because I wanted more pollen.
Mhm.
And there were so many storylines, and I feel like that took up a good part of the season, which I like the storylines, but it just goes back to my first reasoning that I wanted more pollen. It was a
Mhm.
good season. It was a good season. I loved the dresses. I loved the scenery. I loved what they did do in the storylines. I just wanted more pollen.
Mhm. And I think I don't know if I mentioned it in the last podcast, but I like even their makeup, like I didn't like how a lot of people noticed this too,
Mhm.
but I didn't like how modern it was. The only exception that I would have been okay with is Penelope just because it's her season
Mhm.
and I know that they try to do like the glow up,
Yeah.
but it just yeah, it just looked too modern. Like I don't know. Like girls you would see on Instagram. It didn't have that Regency era
Yeah.
feeling that the first 2 seasons and even Queen
Yeah.
Charlotte had for me.
I agree. So it was a good 3.5 overall. I'd
Still
still
good. Still
totally
worth the
recommend
watch.
it. Yes. Yes. Definitely worth a watch.
Mhm. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, thanks for watching. Um, ah, hopefully it's not another 2 years until the next season comes out
I
because
really hope not.
it was a long time. They released the 2nd season during COVID, I think, or, like, even before then, so please.
I'm gonna need that now. I'm gonna need it injected into my veins. Stat, where's my
Mhm,
season 4?
mhm. Seriously. But next week, so we're gonna be talking about Hunting Adeline. That's going to be oh, perfect. You had it on deck. Yes. That book right there, that's part 2 in the Haunting Adeline series. Cat and Mouse duet. Um, yeah, that'll be exciting. Love us some HD Carlton.
Well, we thank you guys for being patient with us and waiting a week and give you what you're looking for.
I was actually surprised people asked me about it. Like,
Yeah, I was
people knew.
too.
Yeah, yeah. Like even my dad was like, "You didn't post today, huh?" I was like,
Y'all notice this stuff? Y'all are actually
"I
watching?
know." Oh yeah, and feel free. I don't think we've ever like said this, but like if you guys like have ideas for things or like things that like you want us to talk about, I can't always say like we'll gauge it because some things if
Mhm.
we're always going to talk about things that we have an interest in. So if it's something that we probably wouldn't be, we may not. But like if it is or if we see potential in it, we absolutely will. It
Mhm.
won't always be books. And we're out of Bridgerton now. So
Yeah, give us the
yeah,
ideas.
give us the ideas. Yes. All right. Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you
Bye,
next
guys.
weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.